2017 was a year to be cherished by MCC members and cricket lovers, as Lord's Cricket Ground was host to a number of historic and record-breaking moments across all forms of the game. It was a year where England's women ruled the world in front of a full house at the home of cricket. James Anderson joined an exclusive club of wicket takers, and Joe Root began his new era as England Test captain. Brian Lara delivered a thought-provoking Cowdrey lecture, and MCC continued to spread the spirit of the game while two nations played at Lord's for the first time in their history.
It's the most extraordinary year of cricket at Lord's, which will live long in the memory for several reasons. The Afghanistan game, the Women's World Cup final, two extraordinary test matches, the test match against the West Indies, which almost redefined what day-night test cricket was and is. It's been an amazing year.
And it was Ireland's visit to Lord's where the international summer began in May. William Porterfield's side, who later in the summer would be granted test match status, made their Lord's debut in the second Royal London One-Day International against England.
It's a historic day, to be invited over by the ECB to play a two-match series, on English home soil. It's going to be great. So, we have a lot of people travelling over for this game from Dublin, and travelling down from various places within the UK. So, I think it's going to be close to a sellout. But
despite Porterfield top scoring with 82, it was Joe Root who starred with bat and ball to give England an 85-run win and seal the series 2-0. An emerging cricket nation, Germany, welcomed MCC this year for the first time since 2008. A 14-man tour party, captained by Ireland's Niall O'Brien, won 6 out of the 7 matches they played. Germany has recently welcomed around 300,000 Afghan refugees who found solace and comfort in cricket in their new home. Former Afghanistan international Izzatullah Dawalatsai played as a guest for MCC during the tour.
No, it's a proud moment for me because MCC is one of the best and oldest clubs in the history of cricket. Playing for MCC, it's like a dream come true for me.
In partnership with cricket charity the Lord's Taverners, MCC also took many bags of kit which were distributed to local clubs and young players to help continue to spread the game of cricket to pastures new. Back on home soil, England concluded their ICC Champions Trophy preparations with a heavy defeat by South Africa at Lord's, but managed ultimately to still lift the series trophy. Kagiso Rabada took a 6-wicket haul as South Africa's bowling attack blew England away en route to a 7-wicket victory. But it wasn't all negative for England. Middlesex's Toby Rowland-Jones made his international debut at his home ground. His unbeaten 37, as well as claiming the prize wicket of Hashim Amla, was a sign of a promising international future.
It was one of those classic Lord's days when it was overcast, there was a little bit in the wicket, South Africa bowled beautifully. I think if England were entirely honest with themselves, they'd say that actually they might have approached the batting slightly differently. But it was a really interesting part of the summer. It was a fascinating game of cricket. And it was one of those days that reminded me that there was no such thing as a bad day at Lord's.
In recent years, the Royal London One-Day Cup final at Lord's has marked the end of the cricket season. But now, in the heart of the English summer, Nottinghamshire and Surrey went head-to-head for the title. Mark Stoneman's unbeaten 144 for Surrey just wasn't good enough, as Alex Hale's extraordinary record-breaking 187 not-out guided Nottinghamshire to a 4-wicket triumph. This meant that the former England wicketkeeper Chris Reed lifted the trophy in his last season before retiring from county cricket.
Nottinghamshire!
a man who's been a really great servant to the MCC over the years, a brilliant servant to English cricket, hugely respected. One of that generation of cricketers like him and Foster from Essex who've really, earned the right to retire on their own terms. For Chris Reed to hold the trophy aloft here at Lord's. I think, reflecting on it, he found it a very emotional and very special day.
Only a few weeks later, the history books were rewritten again at Lord's as the Guinness World Record for the largest cricket lesson at a single venue was broken. 580 children from Chance to Shine Lord's community schools were invited to take part, and this beat Cricket Australia's previous record of 488 children at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
In a nutshell, that's what Lord's should be. Our work locally is absolutely critically important. Lord's has got to keep earning its position within the local community, keep reinforcing the local community, and days like that are incredibly powerful, and we look forward to someone else beating the record so we can come back and make it even bigger next time.
You have a brand new Guinness World Record title. Well done!
Joe Root started his Test captaincy as South Africa arrived at the home of cricket for the second time in the summer. And it was Root who led from the front with a first innings knock of 190 to put England in a dominant position. And he etched his name onto the famous honours board for the third time.
Easy runs. Well played, young man.
The fact that he led by example, and which is the major thing as a captain, is to lead by example and to get your teammates on board, and I think he did that in the perfect way.
He was also joined on the board by Moeen Ali, whose 10 wickets in the match spun England to victory by 211 runs. The other cricketing nation, along with Ireland, to be granted Test status this year was Afghanistan. Their first ever trip to Lord's would top off a quite historic year. The match was played against a star-studded MCC lineup led by Brendan McCullum and watched online by a record 1.3 million people worldwide on the Lord's YouTube and Facebook channels.
Yeah, it's always special when you're playing at Lord's. Memories are good. Last time I played here, so looking forward. Just beautiful ground, beautiful, everything is good, so good to be here.
So when Zadran opened the bowling, his run-up was about as long as I've ever seen at Lord's. I think Brendan McCullum thought he was playing in a sort of semi-serious, sort of fun game of cricket at Lord's. But as Zadran marked his run-up out and went further and further back, it became quite obvious that this was, this is a warrior nation out to win at Lord's, and he pelted in. It was terrifying watching him run in.
Lots flowing is in over the wicket, and Hayes McCullum has backed away, and he's been caught behind. Feathered edge, top edge, through to the keeper, and McCullum has gone for 5.
And when that first wicket fell, it's the only time I've ever been mildly relaxed about a pitch invasion. As sort of half a dozen Afghans with flags couldn't contain their excitement anymore and sprinted onto the pitch. It was a fantastic day.
MCC President Matthew Fleming has worked closely with the charity Afghan Connection, and it was that partnership which helped bring this match to fruition.
I've been to Afghanistan twice, once with the British government and once with Sarah Fain, who runs the Afghan Connection. And so I've seen the difference it makes to schools as far apart as Jalalabad and the Hindu Kush. I've seen what a remarkable country it is, and yet how deprived it is and how poor it is. And I've seen at first hand the difference that the MCC has made to young children's lives. And I know that there are members of that squad who've actually come through the MCC coaching camps. So it was an extraordinary day.
Incredibly, unfortunately, a downpour of rain put an early end to a memorable day for Afghanistan. Part of the beauty of Lord's is that so many different people at all levels of the game can play at the home of cricket. This year, the MCCU men's final saw Cardiff MCCU defeat Loughborough by 25 runs, as Jack Scriven's efforts with both bat and ball earned him the Man of the Match award.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's always a good day to come somewhere like this, but I think when you win, it makes it even better.
In the university women's final on the nursery ground, Loughborough MCCU emphatically defeated Durham by 291 runs. Oxford staged a dramatic comeback in their traditional varsity match against Cambridge. Johnny Marsden and Ben Swanson shared 8 Cambridge wickets between them, taking the last 4 wickets for just 25, and they won a thrilling affair by 9 runs. Reed of Hertfordshire beat Sesse of Yorkshire in the Watson's National Village Cup final, as Richard Wharton, who works as a special constable in Hitchin, was man of the match. He scored 86 not out. The Army won their 5th consecutive Inter-Services T20 title as they beat both the Royal Air Force and the Royal Navy at Lord's. And for President Matthew Fleming, there was a special moment when he led out an MCC side to face the young cricketers. In a tight game, the young cricketers emerged as winners by 31 runs.
I have several overriding memories of that day. Firstly, it was perishingly cold. Secondly, we had given the MCC young cricketers a dinner the previous night in the pavilion, and I may have said 1 or 2 things in my speech after dinner that might have riled 1 or 2 of the young cricketers unintentionally. It was a remarkable day. I would still like a review of my LBW decision because I made a very elegant 2 before getting what I thought was a particularly harsh LBW decision, but everyone else thought was plumb.
And in the regional T20 finals day, it was MCC London North who lifted the trophy. At the end of July, Lord's served as the backdrop to a watershed moment for women's cricket. With an unprecedented 180 million people watching worldwide, Heather Knight captained her England side to a stunning fight back, and they took the final 7 wickets against India for just 28 runs to lift the ICC Women's World Cup in front of a sellout crowd.
Play at Lord's, the home of cricket, the best ground in the world in my opinion, and to win such a tight game, yeah, it was electrifying atmosphere, and yeah, it was brilliant, and credit to the girls, they handled it brilliantly. What a game it was, and what a spectacle, and I think looking back when we're a little bit older, I think we'll just be delighted to be involved and obviously to lift that trophy.
Tammy Beaumont was voted player of the tournament after her 410 runs made her the highest run scorer in the competition.
I could hardly speak or hear the next day because of how loud the crowd was and how we were trying to speak over it. So it was an incredible moment, and it was amazing. I mean, obviously we were ecstatic, and it was a massive outpouring of emotion that you know, we'd almost been working for 4 years since we lost. Well, we didn't even make the final in 2013. So. You know, it was kind of that redemption, that realisation that everything we'd been working towards for a very long time had actually come to fruition, and yeah, I think it took a few more days to actually sink in that we were world champions, but it was just a real special moment.
Ania Shrubsole was the star performer with her 6-wicket haul, a proud moment for her family watching from the sidelines.
Look, well, as the tournament moves on, you start imagining a few things, but look, you wouldn't ever imagine, in your wildest dreams, would you, 6 for plus a run out, and you know, the only thing she missed out on was getting out there and hitting a few boundaries, wasn't it?
But it was Shrubsole's actions in the semi-final which earned her the 2017 MCC and BBC Christopher Martin Jenkins Spirit of Cricket Award, named incidentally in memory of the former MCC president and TMS commentator. The 25-year-old seamer opted to comfort distraught South African captain Dani van Niekerk before celebrating her victory with her teammates.
I've been part of losing semi-finals and losing finals, and you know exactly how that feels. So. Look, there's nothing you can say in the moment that's going to make the opposition feel better. It's obviously not something you think out or anything like that. It just kind of seemed like the right thing to do at that time.
Lords continued to attract sell-out crowds in the NatWest T20 Blast to watch international stars such as Owen Morgan, Brendan McCullum, Stephen Finn and Tim Southey play the short form of the game for Middlesex. On the pitch, Middlesex enjoyed victory in 3 of their 4 games at Lords, including exciting finishes against Surrey and Sussex.
Ball full toss, hit away hard, Stephen Finn is a hero!
But ultimately and disappointingly, they failed to progress from the South Group.
I think home ground advantage is good. It's key, and to do it in front of 25,000 or 27,000 people week in, week out is fantastic.
In the long history of international cricket at Lords, a test match has never begun in September. This year, the autumnal setting at the home of cricket was the backdrop as England hosted the 3rd Investec Test against West Indies, with the series poised at 1 apiece. In the build-up to the game, West Indies legend Brian Lara delivered the MCC Spirit of Cricket Cowdrey lecture, where he spoke about his hopes of a revival in the Caribbean game.
It took 127 years for one person to score 100 in each innings of a first-class match at Headingley Cricket Ground. That person, Shai Hope, a number 4 batsman for a West Indies team with an average of 18. What come may, I believe that the performance at Headingley serves as a tremendous template for West Indies cricket moving forward.
We're looking forward to the next game, but it's a great feeling knowing that so many greats have been here, play cricket, they perform. And it's just glad to be here as a cricketer, as a professional athlete.
But the West Indies may have to wait for a full revival as England comfortably wrapped up the victory inside 3 days. Ben Stokes became only the 8th player to appear on both batting and bowling honours boards following his 6-wicket haul in the first innings. But the story of the Test was without doubt James Anderson, who took his 500th Test match wicket, only the 6th bowler in history to pull off that remarkable feat.
And what a way to do it! 500 Test match wickets for Jimmy Anderson.
The veteran England seamer also earned his place on the Lords honours board for the 5th time, taking 7 wickets in the 2nd innings.
Yeah, look, he's obviously England's best bowler, and you know he's going to go down as one of the legends of the game. You know, he's one of 4 or 5 fast bowlers that have ever achieved 500 wickets. You know, it goes down with the history of this fantastic ground.
There was also a special moment for Kemar Roach, who became the first West Indian since Fidel Edwards in 2009 to make the honours board at Lords. He had figures of 5 for 72. England eventually won by 9 wickets, meaning Joe Root finished his first home summer as Test captain with 2 series wins. A triumph, incidentally, that included victories in both games at Lords. Now England seek to retain the Ashes in Australia this winter.
Yeah, nice to get 2 wins here. Most importantly, to get 2 series wins throughout the summer is really pleasing for me, and I think just shows where we're at as a side. We played some great stuff throughout the whole summer, and hopefully that can continue moving forward.
David Malan may have helped England to a series victory against West Indies, but he was unable to save Middlesex's season. Despite winning their final game at Lords against Lancashire, in which Steve Finn took 8 for 74, they were ultimately relegated to Division 2, only 1 year after winning the county championship in such dramatic fashion.
It sort of showed where we were as a club, not only on the field but off the field. You know, I think we have a few things to improve on, both on and off the field, and you know, hopefully we can come back with a bang and improve on those things and challenge again.
It has been clearly a challenging year for Middlesex. I imagine if you'd offered Middlesex the chance to be champions in 15-16 and relegated in 16-17, they'd probably still take the fact that they've been champions, and the Middlesex team will evolve. And
so that brings to an end an historic summer of cricket and there's so much to look forward to next year. After facing Australia in the Ashes down under this winter, England will get the Test match summer underway at Lord's in May against Pakistan. Then India arrive to make their much-anticipated return to the home of cricket for the first time in 4 years. They'll face England in a one-day international before coming back for a Test match. What an illustrious occasion that should be. Both of England's opponents claimed famous wins the last time they were at Lord's, so England are hoping to turn the tables in 2018.